Chairman CEO, Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM, Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa, calls for more budgetary provision to enable the Commission fulfill its mandate of catering to the needs of Nigerians in the diaspora. Plus, Nigerian British Mayor of Southwark, Mr. Michael Shitu, urges Nigerians, particularly students and youths, coming into the UK to be abreast of the do's and don'ts in the UK, and the federal government to launch diaspora mortgage housing in February 2024 in UK, USA, and Canada. And that is not all. It was a flurry of awards and appointments for Nigerians in the diaspora. First Black female commissioner in the Chicago Department of Health, Dr. Olu Ige. Cambridge University College appoints Professor Ijeoma Uchegbe as its 7th president, and Oluwatosin Olateju appointed commissioner and co-chair of newly established Commission on Public Health. Stick around for details. This is your favorite TV show, The Diaspora. I am Khadija Bamali, your anchor. Please stay. Let's begin with NIDCOM's budget defense at the National Assembly, Senate and House Committees on Diaspora.
NIDCOM is a very important commission in Nigeria. Issues that border on diaspora are very important to those of us who are in Nigeria. Nigeria has two communities, those living in Nigeria and those living outside Nigeria. If you're able to take the proper census of Nigerians living outside Nigeria, you will notice without being told that a lot of Nigerians are living outside Nigeria. And with the normal story these days that somebody will get Japa, that means we want to travel out of Nigeria. More people are living in Nigeria. As they are leaving Nigeria in search of greater opportunities, better living conditions, as they think that they will get when they go out there, will get with it multiplier effects of problems. Because those who live without proper channels, as soon as they leave the shores of Nigeria, they start having problems immediately. And they become part of the Nigerian diaspora community. So it is our desire to do everything to support Nigerians that are in diaspora, and at the same time, be in a position to harness the potentials and capacities of Nigerians in diaspora. As people are leaving Nigeria in search of greener pastures, there are Nigerians that have settled outside long ago that are doing very well in their places of residence, both in the Americas, in Europe, in Africa, in Asia. Nigerians are all over the globe. So this commission is very important, that you should function with every amount of support that you need, so that we shall have Nigeria as a global nation, where we shall look after those living in Nigeria, and then look after those who are living outside Nigeria, that are citizens. With that, you can now see that so much responsibility will be in the way of NIDCOM, which has been principally established to take care of our citizens who are outside Nigeria. But much more importantly at this time, to be able to engage Nigerians who are well settled for doing things that are meaningful. From the reports we have gotten of recent, the Nigerians in the diaspora are contributing so much to the gross inflow of money that comes to this country. Their remittances amount to so much, between $22 and $24 billion annually. So if that is the case, it is important that those who generate this money and send to Nigeria for sundry purposes should be well taught about by the government of Nigeria, so that they will continue to know that Nigeria is their home country and that we appreciate the contribution they make through their legitimate earnings where they live and remittances they make to those of us in Nigeria for sundry reasons. So any community that contributes up to $24 billion or $22 billion to the aggregate foreign exchange that comes into any country, that is a very important group of citizens. So I welcome you to this budget defense session, and without saying much further, we shall yield the floor to the chairman of NIDCOM, Honorable Advocate Diaspora, to make her presentation to the committee.
We have to be fair for more Nigerians that will be leaving the country. We're hoping that they'll be leaving the country more for good. You can't stop migration. But we're saying that when you migrate properly. When I was in the UK, I met a group that said the whole of the set that graduated, all of them have left except one person. So it's going to be more. That is why the two committees and NIDCOM, there's a lot of work we have to do in the next year. And like you said, we have the good, the bad, and the ugly. As they are going, they are hoping to get better and also invest back in their country. So and that is why the 2024 budget, before we even start at all, I want to implore the Parliament to just help us get better funding, because it's going to be for the benefit of the whole country.
Honorable Abike Dabiri-Erewa had an exclusive chat with the mayor of Southwark, London, UK, on alleged sexual assault by Nigerian students and youths in the UK. Take a listen.
One of the areas which actually I think is increasingly becoming of concern, which probably is more relevant to my professional skills area, is the area of how those who have recently arrived, whether it's from Nigeria or other countries, but in this case, I'm speaking about Nigeria. Those who have arrived, whether via student visa or via other means in itself legally, who perhaps have not done enough to find out what the rules, what the processes, what the cultures and traditions of the land is, and inadvertently I've found themselves in difficult position. When I mean difficult position is what people understand as what society finds acceptable in Nigeria may not be acceptable here, and because they haven't got themselves into a position where they've learned or found themselves being grounded in what the practices and rules and regulations and the law is, they find themselves conducting themselves in a way whereby they get into trouble. And once they get into trouble, potentially they get taken to court, they have a criminal record.
What kind of trouble?
So the troubles ranges from literally kind of sexual related offences as worse as rape, could be very minor offences in this country as kind of drink drive related. It could be kind of the more kind of more widely known offences, such as kind of fraud, dishonesty related in itself, and the picture is a lot different here. And what that means is that if you spend quite a lot of money to get here, and you've paid school fees for a year, and 3 months down the line, you just started 3 months, you did something that you think maybe is okay, because you didn't know, or maybe you knew but think actually it's unlikely that you'll be brought to account, and you are. It does put a halt to your opportunities in the future. Because
of course, what it means is that, for instance, a student, maybe you're here for 4 years, maybe your first year you commit maybe rape or DUI.
Or even or even, I mean, for the more serious offense, just even if you're accused of it, means that the Home Office will not process your next batch of your application. So it means, say for example, you get a student visa in itself, and you get accused of a rape. Maybe you did it, maybe you didn't do it in itself. But the investigative process in this country can, for such an offence, could be as long as 3 years. On average, could be over a year. And that means that when your current stay visa or whatever leave you have runs out, you become left in limbo in terms of getting the next one. Because if you put on an application, the Home Office often would wait pending the conclusion of those investigations before they process your application, and then you then wait around not knowing what your legal status is. And for those who do get the outcome of their case, either through the courts or the investigation finishes, it's still a mark on their record, which potentially could be one of the reasons why they use to refuse further on stay, which then means you're not in a position to realize whatever plan or intention, the long-term plan, intention or dream, whatever it is, the individuals, and increasingly there are more and more people finding themselves in that position, which is a big issue, particularly if you've invested and you've spent quite a lot of money. I think it's an area where there needs to be more work done to kind of both educate, inform, and support, because support is needed. Even when will not cover me for giving you kind of quasi-immigration legal advice as to how you should manage yourself as to what your prospect is. I may do it out of the goodness of my heart, but then I can't do it because I'm not an expert. I can offer you a layman's perspective, but I'm not an expert in immigration law. And for a lot of Nigerians that have recently come in, there are increasingly still a few, but a significant few that are finding themselves in that position.
That's a bit worrisome.
It is. But I think it's something that could it's a tide that could be turned around, that could be changed by both kind of having somehow reach having a program to reach those who have recently arrived at an early stage, and we can talk about how you do that. A good proportion go to churches and mosque immediately. They engage with their faith groups immediately, so there's a route and avenue there to reach. A good proportion form secular friends with each other. So again, we can look at kind of reaching out through our universities to see what is option. But I know there's a Nigerian Student UK group as well, and I'm sure that they offer support. But I also know that there are various individuals who are commentaries on kind of the experience of Nigerians coming into the country, who have online platforms, who it may well be that you reach out to them to ask them to kind of make it a topic of kind of information.
We have this, we're going to start this quarterly or even maybe monthly virtual series. We can have you on one of them so that you can speak more to them. And then we should have a program back home, which we want to start this year. But you see, the problem is they don't want to tell you when they're leaving. There should be like a counseling session. Even your organization can play a role, a counseling session. Because, it's about cultural differences. What you think is nothing, where you're coming from, means a lot here.
Yeah.
So it's something we should look into.
It's massive. It's massive. I mean,
Thank you, Mama Diaspora, for your unbroken concerns with diaspora issues. Now, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Architect Ahmed Dengiwa, will be leading a delegation of the Federal Mortgage Bank and Nigerians in Diaspora Commission officials for the launch of the Diaspora Mortgage Housing Scheme in UK, USA, and Canada. This was disclosed when Honorable Abike Dabiru Erewa, Chairman CEO, NIDCOM, paid him a courtesy visit in his office in Abuja.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome the leadership of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission under the leadership of Honorable Abike Dabiru Erewa to the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. I also want to acknowledge the innovative drive of the NITCOM chairman and her team for the good work they are doing in actualizing the mandate of the Commission. Like I said, also at the 6th edition of the Nigerian Diaspora Commission Investment Summit that was done early this month, NITCOM has over the years championed several initiatives and programs that are helping our country liberate the massive potential of our diaspora for national development. In fact, it's good to know that we have over 20 million Nigerians in diaspora, remitting over $24 billion per annum. This 24 billion is equivalent to over 24 trillion naira. And this is above the annual budget that we used to have. As you quite well know that this is a huge sum of money that is being remitted annually by the Nigerian Diaspora Commission. So, Madam Chairman, we commend your leadership, the support of your team, and the partners, and pray for more strength and wisdom to tap this huge potential. As a ministry, we are willing to support the diaspora, as I said earlier, initiatives in the housing and urban development space, as well as encourage partnership with the diaspora towards making a change in the housing and urban development narrative of the country. We're also committed to provide necessary support to NITCOM to ensure that Nigerian diaspora own their homes in Nigeria. This is what we want to launch this Nigerian diaspora convention on, that we want to go. I'm ready and I'm happy to answer that invitation. The Federal Housing Authority also is involved also in the part of the ministry's efforts to cater for the diasporas. They have undertaken the diverse Nigerian Diaspora City project under a PPP, comprising the FHA, the private sector, and the NITCOM.
What you started at Federal Market Park, you launched as a Minister of Housing. So, Honorable Mr. On behalf of Nigerian Diaspora, this message is to say thank you to you and to say that this is a program that will change a lot of things and even a lot of narratives with our diaspora. Incidentally, I just came back a few days ago from a tour of the UK, Canada, and the US, and all of their minds was the diaspora mortgage scheme. The diaspora mortgage scheme. So the next step is to finally have us launch it. And we recommend starting with three big countries and continents, UK, Canada, and the US. And we fix a date where the Honorable Minister will personally do a roadshow on the mortgage scheme. But before then, we can come up with the processes and procedure, which is already ready with the team working together, that we need to be fulfilled before this takes place. So, and we also thank you, Honorable Minister. We've also received your letter for sale of houses under the National Housing Program. Again, this excites the diaspora who are able to buy FHA houses anywhere in Nigeria. These houses are affordable, and for the diaspora who send money home, a lot of money are used for, you want to take care of your health, you want to pay school fees, they can invest properly in the housing sector. So with this now, we can directly buy your houses. This has never happened before. In the past, they go to third parties, they are duped, they send money home, the money disappears, a brother, uncle, auntie has used it for themselves, and the men in particular go to marry another wife, live a good life, but all that will change because of the initiative you brought in. And of course, this will happen under the Tinubu administration, who has 4 Ds under the foreign policy: diaspora, demography, development. So basically that's why we're here, Honorable Minister, to kick off the official unveiling of the diaspora mortgage scheme in the diaspora itself. And then before that time, we roll out the do's and don'ts, the processes, what needs to be done, how do you qualify. I'll tell you, Honorable Minister, we started enrolling on our website. If you go to the NITCOM website to say, look, we want the diaspora mortgage scheme, we want to start today. And we said there are processes, and those processes must be followed. But in the new year, we want this to kick off and properly start. The FHA is starting what we call a smart city in is it Kabuso? Kabuso. And that's going to be another huge project. They've also allocated some hectares of land for the diaspora to be able to buy. In this also, Kabuso Smart City, which I'm sure will also be commissioned and become a reality under your leadership as Minister of Housing. So we seek your support in that regard, because by the time you put all this together, honestly speaking, we would have done a lot for the diaspora. And our message is the same. Nigerians at home, work with Nigerians in the diaspora to be able to build our country, Nigeria. We have no other country but Nigeria.
Diaspora Nigerians, be ready for the launch soon. Let's take a short break. We'll be back soon. Keep watching the Diaspora. Now to the trailblazing appointment of Nigerians in various positions. Many thanks for staying through the show. Happy holiday season.